Hey guys, Garrett Williams here, aka Texans commentator, or best known as Houston Stressans. Thank you for tuning in today. This is my brand new series, the Houston Texans Content Creator Spotlight. My goal with this series is to allow us fans to better get to know the many content creators in this community that provide us great content. There'll be an organic, natural conversation, and so today I hope you enjoy. But before that, please, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow on all social media platforms at Texans Commenter on X, TikTok, and YouTube, and then Houston Stressans on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, as well, the website www.houstonstressans.com, where I have articles that are news, analytical pieces, videos, store, merch, and a free newsletter. So, with that being said, enjoy today's guest.
My guy AD, what's good, bro?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. It's been a minute. How's life been treating you?
Hey, wonderful. Blessing, man. Blessing.
Let's go.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. So I kind of told you, and I guess you're kind of familiar with what I'm doing. I thought like it would be cool to kind of get, fellow content creators like me, such as yourself and John.
Mhm.
Initially just to kind of get it for us a chance to know you guys. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat already do, but so yeah, I mean, first off, I'll just say like, give me a background on you. You can
Yeah.
include personal life if you want to, but more so about like kind of, sports fandom and how it's led you to what you're doing now.
Yeah, AD man, H Town Rundown host. Been a sports fan my whole life. Dad was a high school football coach and basketball coach. So been around the game, football and basketball my whole life. Baseball as well. Texan fan since they, was inaugural season 2002. Um, diehard Texan fan. Um, pretty much simply based. I'm just a guy that loves talking about the Texans and loves talking sports in general. So just an everyday guy, man.
Yeah, you sound like me. And how long you been doing it now? Like with your
Uh 2.5 years now. It'll
okay.
be going on 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little bit behind you, but I mean, it sounds like, our paths are similar. We're just like born and raised, like ever since I could talk, I just love sports and I've
hmm
always been in like the shadows on social media, but I finally made my own and now it's kind of nice and refreshing to get your takes out there. But yeah, so we got people in the chat, Mr. Optimistic saying what up.
What's
Uh
up, Mr. Optimistic? Look,
but
he's been Mr. Pessimistic lately.
That's
Uh,
crazy. He's switching up. Oh, we gotta address this. What's he stressing on?
oh man, he's stressing on the draft, man. The draft and the offensive lineman, man. He's been putting that Titus Howard negativity in the air.
I saw some of that. I saw some of that. He's thinking that Titus might be gone, huh?
Yeah, no, man. We gotta ride with Titus, man.
I hear you. I agree. But yeah, so I mean, we got to do the AFC South roundtable. I get people asking all the
hmm
time, which was AD, myself, Ruben, and Harley.
hmm
But yeah, we'll have to make that happen soon. But as far as today goes, I mean, I think the background's pretty good. People know the H Town rundown. You're on there, and I hope to have some of your other co-hosts, on this series eventually.
hmm
But I guess let's just talk ball, man. It's been a while. I mean, how do you feel up until this point with what the Texans have done so far in the offseason?
I see the culture change. Um, it was brought up before about how D'Amico Ryan's specifically on the last podcast for the H Town Rundown, how with Big Sarge, how the H Town not H Town Run, how the Texans have changed their culture. How D'Amico Ryans came in and changed the culture of the Texans. He definitely changed the culture on the defensive side of the football from top to bottom. Headhunters, I think Todd McShay, or was it the James Palmer? I think it was James Palmer that said it.
Jesse Palmer, maybe?
Jesse Palmer. No, no, no. Is it James
Oh,
Palmer?
I'm sorry. You're right. James
Yeah,
Palmer. Yeah.
James Palmer. Yeah. The guy for NFL Network said that D'Amico
Hmm.
Ryans wants eat glass guys. So like he has that mentality. He wants that on the defensive side, and he has that on the defensive side of the football. And now you see them making the switch now on the offensive side of the football. I think year one for D'Amico, everybody was just trying to figure it all out. And we hit lightning, in a bottle with CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, and we had great success. Year 2, D'Amico Ryans came in with a purpose on the defensive side of the football, bringing in Daniil Hunter, bringing in Aziz Al-Shaair, bringing in drafting Kamari Lassiter and Kalen Bullock, and guys that are just nasty defensively. Danico Autry, the D tackle we just re-signed. What's his name?
Mario Edwards.
Mario Edwards, bringing Tim Settle.
Those
All
are
of
all
these
dogs, man.
dogs, you know what I mean? So, getting Henry To'oTo'o another year, getting those guys in, and Derek Stingley, all pro Derek Stingley. All these guys on the defensive side of football, he came in with a mindset. And, I know you and John were talking about Stephon Diggs and everything like that. I think that was just let's try to go for the gusto. Let's try to go for it all. Bring in Stephon Diggs and everything. He's a home run hit, signing in the offseason. Now you're in the mode of now we're bringing in guys on offense that match the mentality of the defensive side of the football. I know that a lot of Texan fans don't know of the guys because you see a lot of people go straight to PFF grades. And they don't really, and they pick up the low light film of the guys. They really don't especially, and we're talking about the offensive line specifically, because that's the moves that they made. That's the wave that they made by trading Laremy Tunsil, by bringing in Lincoln Tomlinson, by bringing in Ed Ingram, by bringing in Cam Robinson and Trent Brown. There's a similarity to all those guys.
Facts.
They play nasty. They play
nastiness.
Tough.
That's what D'Amico talks about.
Right. They play nasty. They play tough. There is no BS with them guys. With those guys. You look at, I know we talked about it before, the offensive line, in all intents and purposes, was soft. Between Kenyon Green, between Laremy Tunsil, between Shaq Mason, and when you have veterans on that line like Laremy Tunsil and Shaq Mason who are older and not as pronounced nasty guys, that rubs off on the rest of your offensive line.
And it was like the videos you see of like CJ getting hit and them not picking up. It was like, it's supposed to be like one collective, cohesive unit. And instead it was like 5 individuals, like everyone out for themselves. Like no one worried about helping each other. Like everyone just wanted to make sure they did their job and that was it.
And that's the point that I made on last Wednesday, was that they played individual football on the offensive line, which is the worst thing you could ever do on the offensive line. It's playing individual football. And that right there caused a lot of issues. And I know that we had, this is probably my promise. This is my last time people are talking about Laremy Tunsil. Laremy Tunsil was a me guy. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'll be damn what everybody else has going on. I'm shining. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Be damn what everybody else is doing.
And he's the de facto leader too,
and he's
whether
the
he likes it or not.
He's your captain. He's your leader. And you can say what you want to say about Laremy Tunsil as a leader in the locker room and everything like that. Laremy Tunsil's play did not dictate him being a leader on the offensive line. Right. So the mentality, going back to the original point, the mentality on the offensive side of the football, CJ is a dog.
That Broncos player, remember that?
Yes, and that's the point example. Like, he is like, I don't give a damn. I'll get in your face. We can square up. We can box right now. I don't care. The whole point about it, you want your offensive line to be those type of guys. Facts. You want your offensive line to be like, just like an NBA game. I don't care if I get tossed.
Scrappy,
we're gonna fight every play. It's gonna be a war. When you leave this field, you had a battle against our offensive line. That's the type of guys that we want on the offensive line. That's the type of guys D'Amico Ryan wants on his offensive line. And not just offensive line. Christian Kirk is a gritty guy at the receiver position. Yes, he has an injury history, but he is a gritty guy. Braxton Berrios, Justin Watson, all these guys are lunch pail guys that come in and do what they need to do to get the job done. They're not a celebrity. I need to do this. I need to be seen type guys. I'm coming in, do my job. We're going to make it work, and we're going to, eat lunch and go home. So that is what they brought in on the offensive side of the football. and that's what you love to see. You see that Nick Caley is going to bring that style of offense where we're going to punch you in the mouth,
Yeah.
and I don't give a damn what you're going to do about it. So I love it. I honestly I love it because the mentality is something that I've been preaching forever.
Man, I love it too. I mean, I'm glad you're pointing this out. And like, so a couple things I'll ask you about, like off of that. Like, one, it seems like what we're doing with the O line is similar to what we do with the D line. Like, we always every year we want Christian Wilkins and this guy and that guy, and we sign
Mhm.
a bunch of no name vets, and then they come into our system, but they have the mentality and the qualities that fit our scheme, and they ball the hell out and have career years. So that seems to be the same recipe we're doing on O line. And then I
Mhm.
think I would also, this is my assumption, I don't know if you feel the same way, but excuse me. I feel like you mentioned the first couple years, first year, D'Amico's first time head coach, figuring things out. Second year, like we're all watching this, dumpster fire of an offensive Slowick. And like I personally am like wanting D'Amico to like intervene and like, help out and change things. But it
Mhm.
seemed like he was completely hands off and delegated 100% as you
Well,
would
let
want
me
to do.
let me say this. He was not as hands off as people want to say. D'Amico Ryans had his hand in a lot of things and decisions regarding Kenyon Green and Shaq Mason in the playoff game.
Yeah, that's
So,
disheartening.
so
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans has his hands in it because I don't care what anybody says. Like, there's no head coach that's completely hands off on any side of the football.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Well,
an
I guess like
offensive coach,
personnel wise, I'm thinking
yeah,
more of like scheme.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
still kind of
He's hands off on
that
that.
still kind of bothered me though too. Though I was hoping to like more of that was on Bobby, and that's why a lot of us too had concerns about loyalty and stuff like that because we were trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure out why he's making these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's a good point. But like, I guess what I'm saying is like more so like intervening scheme and like
Yeah,
play
yeah,
calling, like, hey
yeah.
Bobby, quit running freaking zone, run gap, it works.
Right,
But it
right.
seemed like just from like a surface level fan, like rather than like step in, like he gave him his own rope to hang himself with. Like, no, like you either figure it out or you don't, or you're out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's going to have that same approach or not. It sounds like it, like, but now you just have to make sure to get the higher right. So I
Yeah,
don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think that he's going to be. Let me say this: you don't get many opportunities to rotate your offensive coordinators,
Yeah.
as a head coach. Period. Or if it's an offensive coach, defensive coordinators, you don't get a chance to run in three or four different coordinators.
Under good circumstances.
Yes, under unless they're getting hired away and poached, then that's the
That's a good sign.
caveat. Yeah, that's the caveat. But if you're a head coach and you're having to fire, if you're a defensive head coach, let's just go down, point blank, defensive head coach, and you have to fire your offensive coordinator, three offensive coordinators, you're on a hot seat. You're on a hot
Yep.
seat, and now you're in a position where you're going to get fired. Like
Yep.
this is the point where now D'Amico has to, not BS around with it. Like if it's not working, I'm not going to hesitate to pull the trigger. I think that was a lot of the loyalty things that you talked about with D'Amico Ryans last year, is that he knew it wasn't working, but he was so loyal that he did not want to pull the trigger on getting rid of Bobby Slowick middle of the season.
So
The
he could have
world,
learned his lesson essentially.
right, right, and so now you have no choice but to
Yeah.
make this work. If this doesn't work with Nick Caley, then now you can't be hesitant on pulling the plug
It's
on
also
it.
unique too, though, because like there was like I was fully prepared for Slowick to be retained, and there was a case to keep him. Like it wasn't the best, but like they could have came out and said stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Mhm,
But like, so like, I guess it's kind of unique too because we've still have went to the playoffs in back to back years. But
mhm.
but yeah, but your point is still valid. Like I agree. Like so, but I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. So is the point of D'Amico Ryans is, like I said it before, on Space and on the podcast, is that D'Amico's Ryan's seat now, if you have the cars that have the seat warm on it, you have the setting that's high and low or whatever, the basics. D'Amico Ryan's seat warmer is on low right now. It's
Hmm.
and he feels it. And his butt is getting a little warm, it's a little chilly, but it's not burning. So the seat is not hot, but is lukewarm. And I don't care what people say because people love D'Amico Ryans. I love D'Amico Ryans, but the fact is, you can't sit up here and say I'm going to go into another season after this season, if it doesn't work out with Nick Caley, that I'm going to go into another season with another offensive coordinator for 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And that hurts the development of CJ Stroud, your franchise quarterback that you eventually, after the third year, you're going to pay him $60 million a year
Mm-hmm.
at the minimum. And you're hurting his development, your franchise quarterback, and now you're showing a little sign of incompetence when it comes to deciding how you want to run your offense as a head coach.
Yep.
So, Nick Caley, hey, this has at this point this has to work for D'Amico Ryans. And I just feel like I think they're building the mentality. The mentality makes it work. And when it comes to the success, you're talking about retaining Bobby Slowick and the success we had, the success was predicated on defense. And I'm gonna say this right now: the way the defense is, barring injury, this team defensively can get you to the playoffs every season,
Facts.
regardless.
And so John and I just talked about this, and I think we've already both thought this, but like this is the like it or not, this is the way D'Amico Ryans wants to win through
Mhm.
defense and just boring, methodical offense. He doesn't want to put up 30, 40 points a game. He wants to play field position, all that stuff. Like,
Right.
end of the day, a dub is a dub.
Oh, he would love a 10-7 game every week. Like
I mean,
he
how
would.
many times do you see where he just leans on the defense, bro? Like where he
Yeah.
could be aggressive, play like it's frustrating and it's stressful as fuck, but
Right.
like it works. I mean,
You
more
can
often than
see
not.
you can see by the decisions he made on the offensive side of the football in situations instead of going for it. I think there was a lot of complaints. Why don't we go for it on 4th and 2? Why are we punting the ball and we're at the 45-yard line on our side of the field and we're punting the ball on 4th and 2 instead of just going for it, making those decisions because saying I'm relying on my defense. So I'm gonna punt the ball and rely on my defense to make the stop to get the ball back. And we were a very opportunistic defense
Yep.
last year by turning the ball over. I think we had a turnover damn near in every game.
If we just had a
Um,
decent offense, it would have been up,
oh
dude.
man, if we could have run the ball consistently, it
Yeah,
would have been we
that's the
would have
big thing, which is what it sounds like what Kaylee wants to do too. Like it's not a sexy, flashy offense. He just wants to run the rock, bro,
right, right. So
which makes it
man,
better for CJ.
exactly. That play
Yeah.
action pass game is going to be dangerous with Nico Collins and Christian Kirk
Hell yeah.
and whatever receiver we draft. Because I hate to break it to you, fans, we are drafting a receiver
Well,
in
that's
this
great
draft.
because that leads me to my last question. Harley, I know you're in the lobby. You're coming on in just a minute. We got one more question from AD. Appreciate your patience. But I'll give my last question and then I'll kind of follow up to give you a chance to kind of shout some stuff out. But before you go, who do you think that we'll take in the first round, assuming we stay in the first round? Who do you think we will take? Who do you think the Texans will take, and who would you like for us to take?
So who do I think they will take? It honestly it all depends on how the draft falls,
That's
which
fair.
is this draft is so weird because we were just thinking about the Giants taking a quarterback. They just
Yeah,
signed. They just signed two. They just signed
that
Jameis
GM's a
Winston
freaking idiot, dude.
and Russell Wilson. So we can take a quarterback off. Like everybody was saying, well, a third quarterback will sneak in the first round. That may not happen, and a player that you assume may fall, like a Matthew Golden or a Luther Burton, probably won't be there at 25. And do you trade up? So all of these different things and questions, but honestly, I'll just say who I would like them to take. And it's two players, and it's both receivers. It's either Luther Burden or Matthew Golden. If one of those two guys are there, I'm taking them. Um, I wouldn't. I was on the fence, not on the fence. I was on the side of taking a Josh Simmons at 25, but with them signing Trent Brown, them signing Cam Robinson, it's like, okay, I'm not drafting a guy at 25 to redshirt him. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Like at some point he would have to see the field. But if you
facts.
draft a guy like Josh Simmons, you're basically going to put him on injury reserve and say, we'll see you in 2026.
We're trying to win now, so that doesn't make
Right,
sense.
exactly. It doesn't make sense. So, I do what if he falls to the second round, do I see the Texans trying to trade up to get him? Hell yeah, I'll be on board for that all day. But at 25 right now, I honestly think you need to go weapon first and you can get your offensive linemen in the second and third rounds because you're going to be drafting for interior more anyway. I think those guys can be had in the second and third round. So I think get your weapon first in Matthew Golden or Luther Burton.
I kind of agree. Like, initially, as bad as the O line picture looked before the offseason began, it was like, oh, we got to go O line no matter what. But I mean, and like the drop off from like a impact playmaker from the first to second, third round receiver wise is a big deal. So I'm happy with that. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on. Before you head off, just feel free to shout anything out. And, like I said to John too, hopefully we can do this again where we have like a longer back and forth, because it's always nice talking ball with you, man.
Hey, so for sure, man. Y'all can see John Hickman tomorrow night with the H-Town Rundown, as we'll be talking more about the offensive line as well. John Hickman, big offensive line guy. I got to get to that question about him saying that Blake Fisher can play guard.
That was interesting. I never thought about that.
We're definitely going to talk about that.
What time's the show tomorrow?
7:00, man. 7:00 on Wednesdays. Y'all go ahead and follow the H-Town Rundown every Wednesday right now at 7:00. If Ruben stops being a prima donna, interviewing Paul Wall and going to Dave & Buster's and being a celebrity out here in these streets, we'll get back to the AFC South as well. AFC South Texas round table, should I say, with Harley, who's coming up, handsome guy Harley coming up. Definitely got to get us back in the swing of things, and we got to do at least one mock draft, right?
Yeah, dude, we got to.
But definitely follow me on the H-Town Rundown on all platforms. Also the HTownRundown.org, our website. H-Town Rundown on Twitter, H-Town Rundown Podcast on TikTok, H-Town Rundown Podcast on Instagram as well, and Facebook, H-Town Rundown. Follow us, man. Enjoy the content.